Quoting the Bible's not going to get you anywhere because you haven't demonstrated why anybody should consider the Bible to be true or authoritative.
We already
have everything
we need.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
There's kings in you. There's crowns in you. There's legacy in you. There's dreams in you.
So the Septuagint is wrong, and I'm right.
I tried to believe that there is a God. The longer you live, the more you look around, the more you realize something is wrong here.
Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, Mickey, I understand. Jesus Christ has to do with history. It doesn't have to do with science or philosophy. But that's all you've explained to me so far. That's all you've answered. How do you go deeper into that? Well, just for the next few minutes, I'm just going to simply try to explain a few tests that I use that comes from Cliff Connectly over on YouTube. Give me an answer. It's a phenomenal YouTube channel. And we're just going to try to think through these different tests that I use and that Cliff uses on any historical document to see if it's accurate and reliable. The first test, and this one is kind of in its own category in a way, is manuscript evidence. That's a big word. All it means is like the copies of a text. Now, a lot of people have come to me and they've said, Mickey, I don't believe in the Bible because over the years, they've just played a gigantic game of telephone. And man, they could not be more wrong. In front of me right now, I have some statistics that from people who are not even debatably people who have obviously lived here on Earth. We have Aristotle, we have Caesar, we have Plato, we have, let's just go with those people. Let's start there. Aristotle has 49 manuscript copies to his name. Caesar has 10, and Plato has 7. And we'll go to Homer's Iliad. That has 643. The accuracy of these manuscripts are 95%. It's not even close. Second place compared to all these other people, he has 643 compared to Aristotle's 49 compared to Plato's 7. Yet all of these people are obvious historical figures and their writings are not even debatably historically reliable and accurate. Well, in first place, probably no shock considering we're doing it, Is God Real podcast, the New Testament, which is 1st century AD. The approximate time span between the original and the copy is less than 100 years. The number of copies in just the Greek alone is over 5,000. That accuracy, meaning like how similar all these copies to each other, 99.5%. The manuscript evidence is overwhelming. The second test I go to for any historical document is internal consistency. In other words, does the historical document contradict itself? This is a hard one to walk through, and not one that you should just, because your parents or because your pastor tell you, or because somebody has told you, you just blindly believe them. You need to sit down and you need to read and you need to sort these situations out. So I could sit here, and I will confidently tell you that while the Bible is a very difficult book to read, and while some places might seem like a contradiction, they're not. But like I said, don't just believe my words. Go and do the research yourself. But for me, personally, the internal consistency, overwhelming, it is perfect. Third test I go to is literary style. Now, the 4 Gospels, the testimonies of Jesus Christ, are undoubtedly written in a style of writing called historical narrative. Now, what does this mean? Well, it doesn't mean that the authors wrote it in a sense where it goes once upon a time in a land far, far away. lived this guy named Jesus Christ. No, it says Jesus Christ preached at this place at this time to this group of people. They were obviously trying to make an account of history, and that's the way they wrote. The fourth and final test that I use on any historical document is archaeological evidence. What does this mean? Well, did Jesus Christ preach on the North Pole? Did he preach in the middle of Atlantis? Did he preach on the planet Mars? No. Jesus Christ preached at places like Nazareth, the Sea of Galilee. He was born in Bethlehem, Jerusalem, Rome. These places are archaeologically traceable. These are not places that are made up. Those four tests are crucial and essential. And like Cliff says, if you disagree with those tests, that's totally fine. Come up with your own. But you got to just ask these questions, guys. I have not been a Christian my entire life. I've been a Christian for about 4 years now. And I've had to sit down and ask these same questions. And the answers are overwhelming every single time. So is there a God? I don't know, go and do the research yourself and come up with a logical conclusion. But for me, I say yeah, it's overwhelming.